Okay, I'm going to get started. And just a reminder to everybody that you can submit questions at the end in the chat, and I will try and be following those and bring them up at the end. But once again, I'm Carrie O'Callahan. I'm the Travel and Logistics Director for Embark Exploration Company. We are based here in Portland, Oregon, and I'm really excited to be giving this presentation tonight because I've traveled a lot to Peru and I've fallen in love with it, and there's so much there to offer, and one of my most favorite treks is the Ausangate trek. So I wanted to let you know that a lot of people come to Peru to see this, but what they don't see is this. So that's a little highlight video of our Ausangate trek, the camping trek in Ausangate region of Peru. And as you can see, it's very remote. It's super beautiful, just jaw-dropping views everywhere you look. And it is something that not many people get a chance to experience. There's not very many people in that region at all. A few facts about trekking in Peru in general, though, before we get straight into Ausangate. Is the trekking season. Dry season is April through October. It's an equatorial country, so that means it doesn't necessarily have 4 seasons, but it definitely has a wet season and a dry season. And so the time you want to go is April through October. For those of you who are super into culture and traditions, June is a really amazing time to be in Peru and in Cusco, specifically in that region, because they're celebrating the winter solstice. It's our summer solstice, but it's their winter solstice. And so it's very busy with lots of different events, and it's very festive. Mandatory 2 to 3 days in Cusco to acclimatize. You definitely need that. You're flying into a very high elevation, and there's a pretty high rate of failure for people who don't take that time to let their body adjust. But for the trek in general, you are looking at around a 10 to 11 day time frame that you would want to be in the country and really get a chance to experience everything it has to offer. The really great thing about Peru and the hiking and climbing community is that it is very easily to purchase or rent gear there if you need to. Okay, about Ausangate in general. Like I said, it's truly off the beaten path. I've been on this trip 3 different times, and each time I've not seen more than a handful of other hikers. Mostly the people who you're encountering are people who live in these mountains and these valleys, and they're happy to have you there. They're very, very warm and welcoming. And for some of you who may have been on some of our other treks or other popular treks around the world, you realize how truly special it is to be somewhere so stunning and to not have the droves of people in the crowds. It's a real special experience. That being said, it's a huge mental and physical challenge. It's a very high altitude hike, starting at around 14,000 feet and never sleeping below 15,000 feet. You're trekking about 5 to 8 hours a day. You're crossing multiple passes. Over 4 of them are over 16,000 feet. There's one that's over 17,000 feet. So each day has its own obstacle to overcome, which is fun. It's a great way of kind of experiencing those mountains. However, it does not require any technical hiking or climbing equipment. You don't need ice axes or any kind of harness or any kind of technical climbing gear. It's all just trekking. Very accessible. This is a little infographic I put together to help people kind of conceptualize how most of our itineraries with the Ausangate region are put together. You start in Cusco, and you've got your 2 nights of acclimatization in Cusco, which you need. And Cusco's at 11,000 feet, and you're going to drive south of Cusco, and you're going to start out on your trek at 14,400 feet. And that might seem intimidating to some people, and it is an adjustment. But once you get out there and you get up there and you get hiking, you are constantly at higher elevation. So, you know, it's not like we're dipping down to 6 and then going back up to 14 or anything, which makes it a little bit more accommodating. It is challenging, but certainly one that can be overcome with anybody who's in good physical condition. So you've got your 5 nights camping out in the Ausangate region, and then you're going to come over and go to Machu Picchu, and that is lower in elevation. That's around 7,000 feet, which most people don't realize because you picture this huge citadel of a city up on these mountains, but those mountains are actually lower down than Cusco and then the Ausangate range. So Machu Picchu is lower. You're going to stay at a town near Machu Picchu at the base of Machu Picchu called Aguascalientes. And that's even yet more of a lower elevation. You're going to come back and spend one last night in the Cusco hotel to fly out. And then you're back at 11,000 feet. Just some kind of general things to hit is that there is several different components with these itineraries. There's hiking vehicles, you've got a train, which is kind of fun to get to Machu Picchu, and buses. So that is that. So let's kind of get started with a general walk through the Ausangate itinerary as a whole. You're going to start in Cusco. The best city, one of my favorite cities. I love touching down in Cusco. Everybody is so warm and welcoming. It's really a safe, charming, energized city that you won't actually want to leave. It's real fun. But it is at 11,000 feet. So it's very important that you take it easy when you arrive. You get plenty of rest and you're hydrating. But that time is really meant for acclimatization. You will have a really comprehensive city tour, as well as a briefing and a gear check and all of that. So that's what you do when you're in Cusco before your trek. And if you're there in June, it's summer solstice. So there's lots of parades and parties, and it's super fun. Here is a map of the overall trip itinerary. You'll see that we start in Cusco. And after we've spent our 2 days acclimatizing, we will drive south to the Ausangate mountain range, which is down over here. It's about a 4-hour drive. So you're going to drive out here and you're going to start on the trek, and it's going to wind its way all the way around Mount Ausangate, which is a sacred mountain. And then you will, 6 days later, meet back up with our crew. They will pick you up in our private vans, and we will get you all the way back through Cusco and up to the train station in the Sacred Valley outside of Cusco. That will take you on the most gorgeous train ride you've ever been along the Urubamba River as the train carves its way deeper and deeper into this ravine, where finally it gets to the base of Machu Picchu at a town called Aguascalientes. As you can imagine, that's a real long day, so you're going to stay at a hotel at the base of Machu Picchu, and the following morning you will go up for your tour of Machu Picchu. You'll ride a bus up there through a series of very comprehensive switchbacks, which are not for the faint of heart. It's a very exciting journey. You'll visit Machu Picchu, come down and ride the train out the next day, and then go back to Cusco for one more night before you fly home, or onward to a trip to the Amazon, or any other adventure you want to do. So the trek itself, like I said, 4 hours south of Cusco's, 6 days, 5 nights hiking the circuit around Ausangate Mountain. This route does feature the famous Rainbow Mountain, which you'll see in some photos a little bit later. And it loops around Ausangate Mountain, as I mentioned. It's the 5th highest in Peru. People do climb it. It has a number of amazing glaciers on it, and it's something that you see every day, and you're always seeing a different view of it and all of the mountains that are surrounding it. The really intriguing part about this trip is that around every bend, it seems like a whole new set of mountains opens up in front of you, and they're all just jagged and amazing and just right in your face. Again, high altitude hiking, and we never sleep below 15,000 feet. The key component is the hot springs. There are hot springs that you can warm your sore muscles in along the way. This is just a fun scene of us getting to our final pass when we were there last June. Pass. So that was us. That was amazing. It was super fun. It was hard work, but it was an experience of a lifetime. And this is a group that just took this photo yesterday at Rainbow Mountain, as I referenced, and you can see why it's called Rainbow Mountain. People travel from the city for a day trip just to come see this mountain. This group is standing at about 16,000 feet right here. And so you're breathless in more ways than one. And it is amazing scenery and it's varied scenery for sure. What does it look like to do a fully supported camping trip? For those of you who haven't been on, for example, our Kilimanjaro treks, maybe you don't know exactly how it's put together. All of our camp gear is transported and set up for us. So you're not putting up your own tent, you're not making your own meals, we're doing that all for you. We're setting up camp with all the bells and whistles, your sleeping bags, your down blanket, hot water bottles at nighttime, bathrooms. We travel with composting toilets, with privacy curtains, anything that you can think of, they've thought of, and the crew is amazing. You are in charge of yourself and your clothing for that day and your day pack, where you're wearing your pack with your water in it, some snacks, maybe your some camera equipment, and some change of clothes, a rain jacket, or some layers for if it gets cold, but that's all you have during the day. We do have a horse that travels with us, or usually 2 horses that travel with us, in case you get tired and need extra help. This is Basilio. He's our lead horseman, and he loves it when you take advantage of his beautiful horses. You hike about 6 to 7 hours a day, depending on the day and depending on pace. So these are kind of some scenes of just kind of camp life. You see we've got our mess tent and the cook tent and our toilets, and then all of our Big Agnes 3-person tents that we put 1 to 2 people in. And I think I have a shot. Yeah, this is the tent all put together, and it's 2 people for a 3-person tent. This is your crew that comes and wakes you up in the morning with hot tea or cocoa or coffee. And this is inside our mess tent, getting ready for breakfast in the morning. All of the beautiful accoutrements. And this is a scene from the night. As you can imagine, since we're in such a remote place, the views at nighttime are amazing. And you can see through all of the different constellations, and it's just jaw-dropping when the sun goes down. You can climb some rocks, as our kids did in June, incessantly. They wouldn't stop, in fact. Or you can visit a Margarita. She's a local lady who owns some of the land that we camp on one of our camps. And there's other locals who are around too. And she loves to have visitors and people in the house to show them how she lives. Or you can also stack rocks around camp if you're bored and need something to do. This guy put this together in about a half an hour. No, just kidding. And if all you want to do is relax and just look up at the scenery, there's always that too. Pretty lucky to have that scene. No talk of the Ausangate trek would be complete without talking about our amazing team. First and foremost, we have our lead guide, Claudio. He is like a member of our family. He is one of a kind. He's been with us to Everest Base Camp to see what that's like as a guide. He has guided for several decades, even though he looks super young. So that is Claudio. And then we've got, like I said, our lead horseman, Basilio, and he's just a charmer. He is known for giving away too many cookies to hikers in need. So definitely make friends with him. And Toribio, our cook, is super proud of putting together all of these amazing meals at 15,000 feet, where you can't even understand how he did that and how he put it all together. He's been doing this also for decades, and it's his passion, and he loves it. For those of you who are wondering, do I have to camp? I like indoors. We also have that option. We do have a lodge to lodge portion of this trek, or option for this trek. And it's very similar in that all of your gear is transported, all of the meals are included. This one does have hot showers. All you carry is your day pack. And again, horses are available to ride if you need a horse at any point. Here's a daytime shot of one of the lodges. And this is a shot of the crew, because it takes a few people to do a mobile camp all around a mountain. So this is one of our groups, and then their entire support staff. It's not over yet, because you still have to get to Machu Picchu. So after you finish your Ausangate trek, you know that you just had one of the most amazing experiences of your life, but you haven't even gotten to Machu Picchu. At the very end of it, we pick you up. We transport you privately, like I showed you on the map, up to the train station near the Sacred Valley. And you overnight after riding the train up to overnight at the base of Machu Picchu. Then you do your tour the next day. Then you're back at Cusco the final day before departure. So that's like a 2-day endeavor with one night stay at the base of Machu Picchu. And there's a group there right now. So final kind of key points. This trek, while it is a high altitude multi-pass scenario, it can be done with anybody who is in reasonable shape. You do need to pay attention to training and making sure that you're getting in shape. And that generally takes about 4 to 6 months for people, depending on where they start, for them to train to be able to do this with comfort and have it be an enjoyable experience. Like I said, we've got the best guides in Peru. They're amazing. Once you meet them, you will understand what I was saying. They live and breathe these mountains. It's not just a job for them, it's also their passion. They love being out there, and they love sharing the countryside and their country and their culture with you. And you'll definitely feel that when you meet them. And then kind of a technicality that we have emergency evacuation routes, and we do carry oxygen in case of emergency. Safety is always our number one concern. And to that end, we always make sure that we have a plan and that we're being conscientious of everyone's safety.